A very good morning to everyone. Welcome in the class. And as we say in this starting, let's crack CSIR UGC NET together. Unacademy is one of the India's largest platform for the preparation of CSIR UGC NET Examination. I'm your educator Farida Johar Bandukwala. I have a teaching experience of 10 years and I have qualified MP SLIT examination in year 2018. Presently, I am pursuing my PhD from School of Biotechnology, DAVV. If you are opting Unacademy, what all things you are going to get? You are going to get daily life classes. You are going to get structured course as there are 13 units in the CSIR syllabus. So it needs to be very compact and precise so that you do not beat around the bush. So the syllabus covered at Unacademy is in a very structured manner. Then timely live tests and quizzes are taken so that you can evaluate yourself that how much you have grasped so far, and it is very much important also to qualify the examination. Then you will have unlimited access towards all the videos and lectures which are recorded in the category of CSIR UGC NET. Daily classes is going to keep you motivated and will let you study each and every day. Unacademy tries to provide as much of free classes as possible. These free classes it conducts on the app which are called as special classes, and another free class it takes on YouTube. So presently you're watching the free class on YouTube. If you want to go for a special class, you can just download the application, that is Unacademy learning app. If you will download this app, you will see that you can make your account over there. So just make your account and opt for examination. In our case, we'll need to opt for CSIR UGC NET, and then you will have access towards all the recorded special classes and all the upcoming classes. You can follow the profile of an educator and you can also get the notification for all the upcoming videos of that particular educator. Recently, discount is going on for the Plus subscription. This Plus subscription is a paid subscription, and all the topics are covered in the Plus subscription. Unlike special and YouTube classes, random topics are covered. On Plus subscription, each and every topic will be covered in a well described detailed manner, and all the time live classes are going on so that you can just go and ask your doubts and you can just sit in your class whichever topic you want to study. So Plus subscription can be very much beneficial in qualifying the examination. You can opt for a 12 monthly or 24 monthly subscription. 12 monthly subscription, you need to pay 11,550, and for 24 months it is 16,800. A lot of deduction is going on. Soon the prices are going to increase, though the prices are very less already, but if you are using my referral code, that is FP01, you will be again getting a 10% discount. And like this, the prices are going to be much lesser. For 12 months it is going to be 10,395, and for 12 months it is going to be 15,120. So recently discount is going on, and soon on 31st December the prices are going to increase. So just go for this, and Unacademy is your one-stop solution for cracking CSIR UGC NET, because there are quizzes, mock tests, all the topics covered in theory batches, and everything you can get under one roof. So this is the benefit of opting Unacademy as your teaching or learning tool. Right, so this was the introduction, a little introduction about Unacademy. Let us come to the topic. The topic of today is Bergman's rule. So we'll write that. This is the topic of today, Bergman's rule. Right. So this is one of the best known generalizations in zoology. Best known generalization in zoology. And what is it for? It is given for which kind of species? If you are saying zoology, then it is related to animal. So it is generally defined as within a species tendency for warm-blooded animals to have increasing body size with increasing latitude and decreasing ambient temperature. So what is it saying? The most important statement is saying that tendency in homeothermic homeothermic are also called as warm-blooded animals. Warm-blooded animals. Homeothermic animals to have increasing body size with increasing latitude and decreasing ambient temperature. This is the statement of Bergman's rule. So what is it exactly saying? That the animals who can regulate their body temperature, that is homeothermic animals. Most importantly, it is for homeothermic animals, the warm-blooded animals. Homeothermic animals, they can regulate their body temperature. They are going to have a constant body temperature all over their life, other than whenever they are having any kind of infection or diseased condition. Otherwise, in a normal healthy state, they will have a constant body temperature, that is homeothermic animals or warm-blooded animals. So what is it saying? That their body size is going to increase with increase in the latitude and decrease in the suitable temperature. If temperature is low, the body size is going to be large. This is the statement, right? So let us see that this statement holds good for all what kind of animals. The Bergman's rule states that amongst the mammals and birds, individuals of particular species, whether mammals or birds, in colder regions, they will have greater body size than the individuals which are living in the warmer areas. So what is it saying? Let us see that it holds good for mammals, and birds. So what is it saying? That if temperature is low, body size is going to be more. If temperature is high, body size is going to be small. Body size is going to be small. So this is the statement of Bergman's rule. Now, if we are saying that all these things are for Bergman's rule, it holds good for what all animals? Let us see one of the example. So example for Bergman's rule can be white-tailed deer. White-tailed deer. So white-tailed deer are larger. White-tailed deer are larger in Canada and smaller in Florida. As the temperature in Canada is a little low and the temperature in Florida as comparison to Canada is more. So this is the thing. So this principle tells you about the body size. Now if you are saying that it is called as Bergman's rule, so let us talk about that. This principle is actually named after a German scientist or biologist. German biologist. His name was Carl Bergman. To cold-blooded animals or heterothermic animals. So let us see that this is a well-known ecogeographic pattern, and it is sometimes considered as a trend for animal species in general, not just homeothermic animals. So let us write that it is ecogeographic pattern. It is eco-geographic pattern and can hold good for warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals. Can hold good for both of them, right? So if we are talking about cold-blooded animals, if we have introduced the term that yes, it can hold good for cold-blooded animals as well. So we have seen the example for the warm-blooded animal, that is our white-tailed deer. So let us see some examples of the animals in which we can apply the Bergman's rule for the cold-blooded animals, right? So it holds good for turtles and salamander. Holds good for turtles and salamanders. They follow the Bergman's rule. But there is an exception to this rule in case of cold-blooded animals. Exception in case of cold-blooded animal is lizards and snakes. It does not hold good for lizards and snake, right? So historically, Bergman's rule is also referred to as pattern of geographic distribution beyond the level of a species. Like it is not holding good for just one species, but it applies to all the species, such as stating that larger mammals and birds species that tend to be more in the northern latitude and smaller in the farther south. So let us see that Bergman's rule is a kind of eco-geographic pattern, is kind of eco-geographic pattern, and the rule says mammals and birds of northern latitude are bigger than south. This is a generalization of Bergman's rule. So we have already seen that it is a kind of generalization. Now, the generalization of Bergman's rule remains a question because there are many exceptions. So we have already seen the exception, that is lizards and snake. So when there are exceptions in the Bergman's rule, how can we actually frame the sentence that there are exceptions? So exceptions actually reflect uncertainty in science, uncertainty in science, and diversity of nature. Diversity of nature. So we'll write over here exceptions to Bergman's rule tells the uncertainty in science and diversity of nature. So the general explanation why it occurs, why is it so? There must be some kind of explanation to it. So the explanation, the reason behind this concept, why, so that we are going to see what is the explanation. So the general explanation for the phenomena is attributed to the importance of surface area to volume ratio. The explanation is about surface area to volume ratio. Surface area to volume ratio. So when warm-blooded areas, warm-blooded animals, they are in the colder climate and they have a bigger body. There is an advantage of reduction in the dissipation of the body heat because the surface area is larger than the volume as compared to the animals when they are in the warmer regions. Their surface area is large and the body volume is low so that they can radiate or they can dissipate the heat from their body. So, surface area to volume ratio plays a very important role in maintaining a specific body temperature for warm-blooded animals. That's why Bergman's rule was actually given for warm-blooded animals, that is specifically mammals and birds. So, we'll just write the explanation that warm-blooded animals in colder climates have advantage, have benefit of reduction in surface area to volume ratio. Warm-blooded animals in colder climates, it will have the benefit of reduction in the surface area to volume ratio. And this is going to reduce the heat loss. This will reduce heat loss. Now, if we are saying this, we are giving this explanation that this is going to reduce the heat. Let us see this with an example. So, example is polar bear. Example is polar bear. So, polar bear in the warmer climates, they have smaller surface area as compared to the polar bears of the colder region. Colder region, they are bigger in size, so lesser surface area is going to save the heat of their body, right? So this is one of the example in the category of animals. Now if we are talking about Bergman's rule and we are saying that all mammals are included in it and birds are included in it, so we have seen two examples in case of mammals, that is polar bear, and we have seen about the white-tailed deer in Canada and Florida. So these two examples we have seen. So now is it so that this can be applied to humans as well? So let us talk about this. So yes, Bergman's rule can be applied to humans as well. Yes, it can be applied to humans as well. Right, so this is the yes. So if we are saying yes, we should see some of the examples. So pygmies are found only in tropics. And so the pygmies found only in the tropics and other tropical areas, they tend to be shorter than the ones which are found in the temperate regions. So pygmies of tropics and tropical region, they are smaller, and pygmies of temperate region are larger. Now this is for pygmies. Now we look at the Europeans. So the southern Europeans, that is the Italians, they are shorter as compared to the northern Europeans, such as the Swedes or the people living in the Sweden, that is Swedes. The Swedes, they are larger when we are comparing Italians with the Swedes. So this is the example, one example in case of human race. Second example in human race. Now the third example, as we are Asians, so let us talk about Asians as well. If we are talking about Asians, so the northern Asians, the northern Asians are larger on an average as compared to the southern Asians. To the southern Asians, they are, as compared to the northern Asians, they are shorter or smaller. Right. So this is the thing. Now the fourth example is about Eskimos. So the Eskimos of Alaska and northern Canada are known for the accumulation of fat for acclimatization to the severe cold. Right. So Eskimos accumulate fat for insulation from cold, and this also makes them larger, gives them a larger body, right? So this is the thing. We have seen the examples, we have seen the definition, we have seen everything. Now a little more explanation is left in the category of Bergman's rule, and I should tell you that we are talking about Bergman's rule and we are talking about Allen's rule in today's class. We will be talking about both of the things in the class, right? So first of all, when we are going to complete our Bergman's rule. So Bergman, actually the biologist Carl Bergman, what did he actually wrote in the explanation? What did he actually write? Let us talk about that. So he said that larger species live farther north and the smaller ones farther south. Larger species live farther north and the smaller ones live farther south. And if we find two species of the animals which would only differ with respect to the size, the geographic distribution of the two species would have to be determined by their size. If the same species is found and they are different in their size, that means that the geographical location is playing the major role in the case of its function, in the case of its body size, right? Excuse me, just close the door. So from here, the rule arises, and this leads to the rule that the individuals living in the population of the same species in the warmer climate is going to have a smaller or less massive, lighter body as compared to the individuals who are of the same species and they are living in a colder environment. So, this is the explanation. Now, the most frequently cited reason for Bergman's rule is the phenomena which is actually because of the climatic adaptation. Climatic adaptation is going to change their body structure. Larger animals are going to have lower surface area to volume ratio, and the smaller animals, they are going to have a larger surface area to volume ratio, so that they can dissipate heat, they can radiate heat, and the animals having smaller body surface area to volume ratio, they can conserve the heat, right? So this is the explanation about the Bergman's rule, right? Now coming to the Allen's rule. As I told you that we are going to talk about Allen's rule as well. So the next thing that we need to see is Allen's rule. Allen's rule. This is the topic. So Allen's rule is again a eco-geographical rule. It is a eco-geographical rule. It is a eco-geographical rule, and if it is called as Allen's rule, why is it called as Allen's rule? Because it was given by or formulated by Joel Asaph Allen, and this rule was given in year 1877. So this rule came after the Bergman's rule. Bergman's rule was given in the year 1847 by Carl Bergman. So what does this rule says? This rule states that the animals which are adapted to the colder climates, they will have shorter limbs and body appendages in comparison to the animals living in the warmer climate. So let us see the statement that animals adapted to colder climates have shorter limbs and appendages as compared to animals adapted to warmer regions. Warmer regions. This is the statement. So, shorter limbs and appendages for the colder regions, and vice versa for the warm region. Warm region animals are going to have bigger appendages and bigger limbs. So, what does it says? What is the prediction? Why was it given? So, predicts. What does this predicts? So, this says that the body surface area to volume ratio for the endothermic animals tend to vary with the average temperature in which they occur. Lower ratio in the colder climates and higher ratio in the hotter climates. So this is the explanation for our Bergman's rule, right? So this is an extension of Bergman's rule. Bergman rule came previously, and after that Allen's rule came, and Allen's rule tells us that the appendages should be smaller for the cold-blooded animals and bigger for the for the animals living in the colder areas, and bigger for the animals living in the warmer areas. So we'll write this. Limbs and appendages large for warm area and small for cold area. This is the explanation. So this is the statement. This is the thing. Now, one of the main explanation for the theory is that the endothermic animals in the colder climate, they need to save energy. They cannot lose their energy. They cannot lose their body heat easily. Otherwise, it will be a problem for them. So, the main explanation for the theory is that endothermic animals in the colder climates need to save much more energy as compared to the people living in the warmer areas. So, explanation. So, endothermic animals, that is the humans or mammals or birds, endothermic animals in colder climates need to save as much energy as possible in form of heat. They need to save energy. Thus, they need to decrease the surface area, which helps to avoid dissipating the heat. So, shorter appendages and limbs also help to avoid the heat loss, as the body extremities are some of the main parts from where the animals they exchange heat with the environment. So mainly due to the heat exchange with the blood vessels which are close to the skin. Thus having shorter ones will help them to decrease the heat loss, right? So what is it saying? Let us, what I said, we are going to write it in words. We are going to make the key for this. So decreasing the surface area, decreasing the surface area helps to avoid dissipating heat. Right, this we know. This we already know from the Bergman's rule. Limbs and appendages. Limbs and appendages are the places. Limbs, appendages, or extremities. Limbs, appendages, or extremities are the places from where animals exchange heat with environment. With environment. Mainly due to the blood vessels near to the skin. Mainly due to blood vessels near skin. So shorter ones is helpful in saving the heat. Shorter ones helps in saving heat. So we have seen Allen's rule quite nicely. Now we need to come on the example. So example, or to understand Allen's rule better. So the classical example of Allen's rule, this is a classical example. Remember, classical example of Allen's rule. Is correlation between the length of ear and air temperature in the hair. Classical example of Allen's rule for ear length and temperature in rabbits or hares and foxes. So here this is hare and this is fox. So if you are seeing from the left to right, so what are you able to see? That the climate is going to be colder from left to right, or from right to left, the climate tend to be increasingly colder. So the animals having smaller ears belong to the colder region, and the animals having larger ears belong to the area of the hotter region. So this is what our Allen's rule says, that the appendages or the extremities are going to be smaller for the animals living in the colder region, and the animals living in the warmer regions are going to have bigger extremities. So here we will write warm, and here we are going to write cold. So as the temperature starts decreasing, the ears also start becoming smaller. This is warm, this is cold. So you can see the size of the ear. There is respectable difference in the ear length in here as well as in the fox. So we have completed Allen's rule and Bergman's rule. So we'll just do a quick revision. So Bergman's rule was ideally given for homeothermic animals, though it is applied now to the cold-blooded animals as well. So what does it say? That the warm-blooded animals are going to have a bigger body when there is larger latitude and decreasing suitable temperature. So if temperature is less, body size is going to be big. If temperature is more, body size is going to be less. One of the example we have seen in case of the Bergman's rule is white-tailed deer. White-tailed deer. So white-tailed deer, they are larger in Canada and they are smaller in Florida. And this rule was given by Carl Bergman in year 1847. When we are talking about the cold-blooded animals, it is seen that it holds good for cold-blooded animals as well. Some of the example is turtles and salamanders, and some of the exceptions of the cold-blooded animals who does not follow the Bergman's rule is lizards and snake. Bergman rule is a kind of eco-geographic pattern, and the rule says that the mammals and birds of northern latitude are bigger than the southern latitude. And the exceptions to Bergman's rule says that there can be uncertainty in science and there can be large diversity in nature. So the explanation for the Bergman's rule is for the surface area and volume ratio. Warm-blooded animals in colder climates, they have this benefit of reduction in the surface to volume ratio, and they are going to reduce the heat loss. So example we have seen is for the polar bear. They are very large, so the surface area to volume ratio is less. Now, is it so that the Bergman rule can be applied to humans? So yes, the Bergman rule can be applied to humans as well. One of the example we have, first of the example we have seen is for pygmies. The pygmies of tropical region, they are smaller, and for temperate region they are larger. Then it was applied to Europeans, Italians, they are shorter as compared to Swedes. Asians, the northern Asians, they are larger, and the southern Asians, they are shorter. Eskimos, they try to accumulate fat and they try to increase in the body size so that the surface area to volume ratio becomes smaller and they can lose lesser amount of heat. So larger species, there's a generalization that the larger species live farther north and the smaller ones live in the farther south. Now we are talking about the Allen's rule. So Allen's rule is also eco-geographical rule, and it was given by Joel Asaph Allen, and it says that the animals living in the colder region are going to have shorter limbs and appendages as compared to the animals living in the warmer region. So larger limbs for warmer area and smaller limb for colder area, and it is applicable to the endothermic animals. Why? Because they need to save energy as much as possible in the form of heat. So decrease in the surface area is going to help them to avoid dissipating heat. Limbs and appendages or the extremities of the animals living in the colder areas, they are going to actually lead into heat loss. So they are made shorter because the extremities, they are having rich blood vessels, so there is lots of heat which can be lost from the hands, limbs, appendages, ears. So the ears, limbs and appendages become smaller in the animals living in the colder region. This is what our Allen's rule says. And we have seen a classical example of Allen's rule, that is for the ears. In the case of hare, and in the case of fox. So as you can see in this picture, the bigger ears here belong to the warmer region, and the smaller ear here, they belong to the colder region. Bigger ear fox belong to the warmer region, and smaller ear fox belong to the colder region. This is our Allen's rule and Bergman's rule. We have done it in a very simple and quite detailed manner. If you haven't subscribed our channel yet, that is Let's Crack CSIR UGC NET, subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon for getting all the notifications of the upcoming videos. If you are going for plus subscription, do not forget to use my referral code FB01 and just do hurry for getting the subscription, because after 31st December the prices are going to be increasing. Recently a discount is going on, so this discount is till 31st December. After that there will be hike in the prices. And if you really like my video and you have enjoyed watching it, or you have grasped something, learned something, or was it helpful to you, just give it a like, because it really motivates us. The educators really feel good seeing the likes. And lastly, a great thank you to you all for your patient listening. It was great having you as the students of the class. Thank you very much. Come back tomorrow and we'll be doing some other topic of ecology in a well explained and interesting manner. So this is it for now. We'll be meeting tomorrow again with an interesting class of ecology. So this is it for now. Have a very good